Hello everybody, this is Nancy again, and I wanted to do the second half of what I intended to do today, which was to show you how to get in VMware, open SQL, make sure you can connect to the database, and also to record it, because when I talked to Mr. Honey last night just after class, I asked him, do you want us to spool on and record it and save it as a file, or do you want us to do screenshots? And he said, I'd rather that you spool on and save it as a file. That's how I want to read it. So he went over it super fast, and it's very hard because you're going to have to cobble together like 2 nights of videos to figure out how he did it. So I thought I would give you a short video here on how to do it, how to spool on, and how to record the class as a text, your homework as a text file, so that you don't have to do screenshots. Okay, so let's work with our preconditions. The precondition is I have already opened VMware, and I've been signed on for a while, so I should be able to connect on SQL very quickly. So we should do, and I am connected. Okay, excuse me, a little dry throat here. The next thing we want to do is we want to spool on, and spool on simply means we want to record our session, and we have to save it as a Word document. That's very important, because if you don't designate it as a Word document, it's going to save it as a list, and he won't be able to read it without appropriate software, and may as well make it easy on everybody. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to type spool, S-P-O-O-L. Where are you going to save it? You're going to save it to C, and you're going to save it to homework file or whatever. .doc. Why .doc? So that it can be read in Word, which is the easiest way for him to check the homework. Once you do that, you hit enter. The tricky thing is you won't get any acknowledgement says, okay, you did it correctly, you're recording now. So what I would recommend is that you try doing this, spool on, then do some little nonsense thing, and then spool off, and then go ahead and check and make sure you did it right before you start on the actual homework. Just try it once to practice, and then make sure you know what you're doing, and then do it for real. And that way you won't have to worry about, oh, I actually didn't record my homework and there's 14 questions that I have to redo, which will be very sad. So here we are. We've spooled on. We have chosen our file, which is C, homework.doc, and now we can start some work. So obviously, in real life situation, you would be doing your homework now, or however many questions he had you do. So I'm just going to do a few things to get some stuff on the screen, so that when I show you what the file looks like, you'll understand that it came from what I'm doing right now. So select everything from employees, and remember, if you are not working from that little notepad edit, you do have to put a semicolon. Now you will notice, remember on the first video I showed you how to fix everything, and now it's unfixed again. So when you sign off of SQL, you are going to have to go through the set line size 400, set page size, woo. Again, hit your slash key and it'll redo what you did, and as you can see, my stuff is the right size now. Now you will notice I did not have to go up here and redo the stuff under properties. I didn't have to change this again, because when I changed it before, it's going to stay that way. It'll stay that way until I change it again. But every time you sign on, you're going to have to change that page size, and you're going to have to change that line size in order to get it so that you can see it and work with it. Okay, so we've done that. So let's just do some stuff. Let's select everything from the table that we're working with, which is titled Employees, where the first name of the person equals David. And remember, when you have words, when you have something that's not numerical, you do have to put it inside quotes. Then you're going to end with a semicolon, and you're going to run it. So we have 3 Davids: David Austin, David Bernstein, David Lee. Then we're going to do, I think, what do we have? Describe employees. And then what that does, the describe command tells you what all of your columns are called, what your column headings are. So you have employee ID, first name, last name, email, phone number, hire date, job ID, salary, commission percentage, manager ID, and department ID. This is important because when you're selecting your arguments and your conditions, you have to spell everything absolutely correctly. Notice that in SQL you are not allowed to have spaces in the titles and names. Like you can't have employee space ID. Excuse me, that's why you have the underscore. So you have to have it exactly, otherwise when you run your query, it's not going to come up right. All right, let's just do one more, select everything. Now remember, SQL is not a case sensitive language, so I can use uppercase select or lowercase select, but when I'm doing my queries, I prefer to put the different conditions and commands in all caps, and then the data I prefer doing in lowercase. Select everything from employees where, and let's just do order by last name, and that means the last name will be over on the left, and instead of doing it A to Z, we're going to do Z to A. So we're going to do descendant, DESC, do your semicolon, and there we go. So now we took all 7 and we chose everything from the table marked people. We ordered it by last name descending, which means it goes Z to A. So you see my last one here is by the last name Abel. All right, so let's just say I'm done with my homework. I wish. I haven't even started on it because I'm going to wait until I have access to the class lecture tape so I can have that playing in the background and make sure I don't forget anything. And then we're going to spool off. SPOOL space OFF. Now that means we are no longer recording. Where did I save this to? This is very important. Remember, we're working on a virtual machine. So if I save it to C here, I'm saving it to the C file, C space on the virtual machine, not on my regular computer. So I'm just going to minimize this. Whoops. I'm going to minimize this, and now I'm on the virtual desktop. Okay. Real desktop went away. Let me try that again. Real desktop, virtual desktop. Okay, so I'm back in my virtual world with all of the stuff that they installed for us. So now I want to go make sure I have that file, so let's go find it. We saved it as C:/homework. Should be pretty easy to find. So let's go to the Start menu, and we're going to go to My Computer. And remember, this is the virtual computer, not your real computer. And we're going to click on C. And there you see the homework that I just created with you here is here, and I saved it as a document file, and therefore it can be read by our instructors and graded. So let's open it and see what we have. Okay, the first thing I asked it to do, I said select everything from employees, and that it did. All the way down. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I don't know why it's on 2 pages like this, but it is. And this was just like 2 or 3 things I did. Imagine how long our homework file is going to be with 10, 12, 14 questions. All right. Let me try if I get down here a little bit. And this is when I changed the size, or I don't remember what I did. Bear with me here. This is when I described the employees right here, describe employees. That's when I gave, you know, what the different names, titles were for the columns. That's where I did describe. And then here's the last thing we did. It said SQL select everything for employees, order by last name descending. And because of the way it's set up on the page, it's kind of, you know, ugly and doubled up and everything. Don't worry about that. He's going to want to just make sure we did, you know, we did it and we got the right answer. If it's not gorgeous, I don't think they're going to worry about it. Okay, so that's the last thing that I did here. And then, excuse me, that's it. Ellen Abel, remember we did descending, so the letter A was going to be the last thing, and then we spooled off. So this is exactly, this is a documentation of exactly what I did in SQL. And that's this right here. everything that we did from signing on to spooling on, not signing on, from spooling on to spooling off. And then that will be how you do your homework. So you're going to sign into you're going to open VMware. You're going to sign on to SQL, open SQL. You're going to wait a couple of minutes, go get yourself a cup of coffee, go watch a TV commercial, something. Make sure that the database, the Oracle database, has had time to open. Then you're going to connect, and you're going to use your connect HR, enter password HR, and then you're going to spool. So that will be using SPOOL, then you have a space. You're going to save it in C drive, C:\homework doc. And I think I forgot to put a slash here. If I did, then you put a slash, but for some reason it worked. So we're going to save it as homework.doc. And remember, you can always change the name later, so it doesn't matter. And then you begin your homework. Every single thing you do, including mistakes, will show up here, which is no big deal because we will all make mistakes. I have a habit of forgetting putting in my semicolons. So that's it. That's how you do your homework, and I'm going to leave it at that. I just want to say for the record, remember, we're all students here. I'm about maybe half a step in front of you guys because before I made this video, I went through the steps to make sure I was doing it right. So it's not like, you know, this is rocket science and I have a degree or anything. I'm about a half a step in front of you, and I haven't even started on my homework because I'm going to leave it until I can listen to the lecture at the same time. But I thought this would be a good idea to help us learn the first steps and learn how to record it correctly, so God forbid we don't do all this hard work and then we can't turn it in. Alrighty, so that's it, and we'll see you guys later.